Good morning, Solaris 7. Calgary Battletech brings you Season 2 of Uncivil Discourse with your hosts, Brett, Lee, and commentary from Geoff. Howdy, everyone, and welcome back to our next episode of Uncivil Discourse. Thank you for once again joining us as we aim to entertain.
And if you gotta aim at something, aim to be crowd pleasers.
Is that really what you want to aim for, though?
I mean, he can't hit anything else he aims at, so.
Hey, I did quite well this week. Thank you very much.
From what I understand, he did hit better than your test game, so,
That is true. I only hit for like 37% today in that test game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think I was pretty much over 60.
Nice. Well, only 2 games left in the regular season, and there's still some room for people to slip into, some of those better positionings. A couple of A-side slots for the playoffs, and then, solidifying who's going to be leading B-side, and, it's lots of stuff up for grabs, right?
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting in the last couple of weeks. Now, one thing, we still haven't heard from Battle Basement about his prize for the giveaway draw for that Merrick Lance. Just so you know, I think sometime around Christmas time when the regular season ends, if we still haven't heard from you, I think we're going to have to move on to the next person in the list. So please get a hold of us at Calgary Battletech League at gmail.com so that we can get that out to you. We really would like to give away that prize. Now, all the skill spends are done, and now that's pretty exciting. And we get to play the last 2 games fully decked out and ready to rumble, just to get some practice in before playoffs.
I'm pretty excited that we're done on the skill spins now. No more herding cats to get people to submit on time. Let's take a look at some of the last spins that came in. Kondo's Janissaries, T-Sang picks up Two-Hander, and the Wraith picks up Nearsighted. Doombud's Highlander clan salvages the streak 4 because he had a couple extra points left over at the end. And the Longbow, using Veteran, picks up Missile Grouping. Mass Destruction's Crab picks up Favorite Weapon ERPPC. Maybe you can start hitting with that. Donru Tiger Slayer's Kakata picks up Anticipation. And the Warhammer uses Underworld Contacts to add ECM. Blitzkrieg Jezebel's Grasshopper picks up Piloting. Odin Storm Riders, the Atlas, picks up Gunnery. And the Hatamoto picks up Gunnery. Kel's Keshik, Wraith, picks up Lost Tech. Lords of the Underworld picks up Berserker. And Edge. Sorry, the Lords of the Underworld's Berserker ends up picking up the Edge skill. Red Sons Irregulars, Rifleman, uses Veteran and picks up Favorite Weapon for the Rack 5. And the Banshee picks up Piloting. Tin Man's Tin Cans, Enforcer, picks up Edge. Thumper's Revenge, Phoenix Hawk, picks up Tactics. And the Thunderbolt, using Veteran, picks up Underworld Contacts to add Case 2. B-Side Brawlers, Archer, picks up Tactics. Vandals Valkyries, the Axeman, picks up Hero Complex. The Hunchback picks up Anticipation. The War Club, Grand Dragon, picks up Hyperactive. Parker's Pathfinder's Nightstar picks up Intimidation. And the Grasshopper picks up Recoil Control. Abishai's Avengers, Awesome, picks up Determination. Flying Tiger's Imp picks up Determination. Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates Banshee picks up Gunnery. Riston's Rogues Night Sky, Mobile Fire, and Underworld Contacts for ECM. The Fallen Angel Stable Banshee picks up Gunnery. Second St. Ives Janissaries Atlas picks up Personal Vendetta. Blood of Bashir's Wolverine picks up Personal Vendetta and Faction Tech. And the Awesome picks up Camouflage, finally spending all those points that have been accruing up in the bank. And the Longbow uses Veteran to pick up Underworld Contacts to add Case 2.
I see some more people picking up Determination. I thought you said there was multiple hero complexes being picked up, Brett?
There was one that was submitted that was a mathematical error. The points weren't available for the second persons to pick that up.
I see the typical gunneries. At least Andrew gets all of his spends in finally. All those bank points. That's nice to see. Outside of that, there's nothing really that stands out. The recoil control on the Grasshopper for Parker's Pathfinders is interesting.
Yeah, it's basically a cheap piloting skill for any time he does, I think it's skidding checks.
It's a whole bunch of checks. Basically, anytime you have to make a piloting due to an environmental issue, you get the +1. I believe that also covers firing a heavy gauze, but not that matters, or taking 20 points of damage.
Yeah, I think the only thing it doesn't help with is actually hitting with a kick. So, or any other physical attack.
If you get kicked, if you enter water, if you enter rubble,
miss a kick. Yeah. So it's an interesting skill. It's kind of a cheap piloting skill without giving you the attack bonuses of the improved piloting.
Yeah, like I said, it's an interesting skill spend on it, right?
It is really interesting, and it could actually work out really well for him. I'm a little surprised that all these primary skills are being picked up so late in the season, considering the fact like gunnery and piloting, they affect everything in the game. And so many other people decided that they wanted to take the secondary skills instead of filling out those primaries early and just getting the advantage all the time. But I see them picking them up now, so we still have 2 more games for placement in the playoffs.
Well, that's because the primaries are just a touch more expensive than those secondaries.
Yep. I understand why they're doing it, but it's almost like they've built up all these points to spend in week 8 instead of spreading them out and spending them earlier in the season.
I almost wonder how many of these are like, oh, I'm at the end of the season, I've got 4 points, what do I do?
Oh, I know a few people for sure were like, I don't know where to put all these points.
Yeah, that's true. There was some people scrambling on what they wanted to put stuff into points.
All right, I think we can move on to week 8 games. We had some interesting outcomes. Let's take a moment and revisit them to see how they turned out. Game number 1, we see the War Club take aim at Kondo's Janissaries in the Winter Wonderland Custom Arena. This field features a frigid temperature that helps mechs dissipate an additional 5 heat per turn. In a match we expected more dead mechs, the Janissaries march away from this with a 4-1 final score.
Well, I'm not massively surprised to see the outcome. I know JP, as I'd said in the predictions last week, he's playing solid and really steady. Calvin's still got a really tough team, but now that we've started to move into where skills and experience are starting to take a bit of an effect, I think we're going to start seeing things balance out a little bit more. JP still has a good chance of making the top spot if he just keeps at it and keeps being a steady player like he has been. And I know Calvin can slip right back in there if he just wins the next 2.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it was only a 1 loss on the Janissary side. I would have we would have seen more carnage, but yeah, it's it's pretty surprising to me, anyways. Not surprising that the Janissaries won, but the final score is the surprising bit.
Yeah, both of these teams have had 4-1 victories in the past, so having it come up when they play each other was a little surprising.
Yeah, they both have an aggressive damaging ability. I know JP's a little bit more of a defensive player, a little bit more cagey, and Calvin is in your face type of player, and maybe JP just kind of rope-a-doped him a little bit and kited his mechs along while the rest of his mechs hammered on the ones that were in the lead.
All right, game number 2, the Blood of Bashir versus Parker's Pathfinders. In this bloodbath of a match, the shattered husks of many mechs littered the Barren Lands arena. 8 mechs enter, and only 1 Night Star leaves. In the last fettered seconds of the match, the lone Bashir Warhammer facing off against the Nightmare, but alas, fell short. 4-3 Parker's Pathfinders victory today.
I'm very, very happy to see Parker's Pathfinders get a win in. Equally dismayed that Andrew wasn't able to pull out another win this season. He's still got 2 more games. I think he's going to do just fine in those. But Parker's Pathfinders, that's going to pump him up a little bit in the standings and start getting him into the middle and upper areas of the B-side playoffs. So much carnage in this one, right? I don't think
either of us or any of us called a 4-3 for this match, but
But we did have someone call a 4-4 tie. He came very close.
that is very true. You were almost correct with that 4-4 tie.
At the last couple of turns, they were standing like 21 hexes away from each other and just trading shots. The Nightstar versus the Warhammer with its clan ERPPC. It could have been. It wasn't, but it could have been.
I know. It is nice to see Andrew, getting all those kills though, which is great.
He's got a tough lance. It's quite
I know.
powerful. It's just, I think more than anything, it's inexperience of how the game's played, like with the way, the little nuances on how to get the slightly better targeting numbers or the little bit better defensive move. I think those are the things that are costing him his games.
Well, this is also only his like 8th game ever.
Oh, I know. It's impressive that he's done as well as he has. Like, because he's not getting steamrolled by and people going, oh yeah, he was nothing. It's people are beating him, and quite often they're beating him 4 kills. But they're all like, yeah, he actually played really well, and I took a lot of damage. He just didn't finish anybody off.
Yeah, and he beat you, right? So
Yeah. That was getting away from that. We're 8 games past that. Let's just continue on.
All right, game number 3. Hitting the pavement experience, Vandals Valkyries face off against Abishai's Avengers. The young stable manager brought home another win for the Avengers today with a 4-1 final score. Go figure, the Valkyries get a city map just after they swap out the dual AC-20 Nightstar monster.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate, but he did replace it with the Thunderhawk, which paid some actually really serious dividends on dropping fire on the Abishai Avengers mechs. The last few rounds, Abishai's Avengers 3 mechs were terrified to move in on that Thunderhawk because those 3 Gauss rifles were hitting really consistently. He knocked one of his mechs down, one of the Avengers mechs down. I don't think it was getting up, but it could still prop and fire. And it was really nice to see how much Chris enjoyed the game. He was smiling the entire game.
I'm pretty sure he got that kill in the final rounds too from the Thunderhawk.
Yeah, that is one of those mechs you can almost do the blooming star of one weapon per person and actually stand a chance at killing somebody. But he was doing a good job of focusing his fire. I think if it wasn't a city fight, that actually would have been a bigger benefit for him. He probably could have taken out 2 of the Abishai's Avengers. And it might have also changed what happened with his other mechs, because I know his Axeman got kind of separated from the herd and got piled on pretty heavily by the Avengers.
Yeah, the first outing for that Thunder Chicken gets a kill, right? So
it was scary for Max. There was a couple of situations there where he could have been down and actually behind on that fight.
Game number 4, meeting on the Plains of Death, the Flying Tigers go flying high again and attempt another death from above against the B-side Brawlers Archer. That poor Victor pilot getting shot, falling unconscious, and horribly missing the landing. Brawlers take home a win with all 4 Tiger Tails and 0 lost bees.
Way to go, B-side Brawlers. You go and beat up on one of the old men of the league, and you didn't even let him succeed on the death from above. You could have just watched it happen. You didn't have to shoot him out of the air. It was good. It was a great game. Ball is his usual crazy self and did what he could to win, but that pilot getting knocked out, I think he got shot and knocked unconscious early. Didn't even have high target numbers to... Oh, that was the mech that did the death from above. Sorry, I thought it was the Phoenix Hawk.
Yeah, he got knocked unconscious while attempting the death from above.
Yeah. And you know what? Remember, he didn't even see a charge with his imp on the first week. He took a autocannon 20 to the head. So he has a hard time keeping people awake. But yeah, I thought it was the Phoenix Hawk that did the death from above. It was actually the Victor, which is unfortunate. And the Brawlers definitely have a playoff contending lance. I'm really interested to see if they can get into that A side and see if they can take out some of the top guys.
Yeah, B-side Brawlers wants to stay on the B side, but if they keep winning like this, they're going to be A side. And yeah, just
don't even know what to say about it, because if he gets
Yeah.
into the A side, I think he's got a tough row to hoe. If he stays in the B side, I think he's cherry picking a bit. So we'll have to see exactly what his next 2 games are like. See if he throws them. We'll have to watch.
Game number 5, the bunnies go hopping in the hills following the road to ruin. as they try hard but fall just short of a win. Lee would call this a really close game, as the Road in the Hills Arena has Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates cruise away with a 4-2 victory.
Oh, it was, though. 4 mechs died in the last round. It wasn't like they were down 3 mechs and just luckily got 2 at the end. It was just a slaughter. Galen was not ready for the magnetic warheads on Laura's
Salamander.
You read
one as well.
No, I know that. I was just getting my head together. He wasn't ready for that. He didn't understand how magnetic warheads worked, and considering the fact his mech has 2 Gauss rifles, the -1 to hit plus the +4 on the missile table when everything all got worked out, he was just getting hammered with 20-point hits, and he was not expecting that. It was actually quite close. They fought it right out, and the fact that they were able to have 4 mechs die in the very last turn shows how close it could have been. Because if Laura's mechs had survived, it would have been a tie, not a loss.
That is quite a bit of death in the end there. Especially like you say, those magnetic warheads with the pirates having 3 Gauss rifles. It's a nice bonus, that's for sure.
Doesn't come up often, but when it does, it sure plays a little bit of havoc in your opponent. Game number 6. This next match features the Tin Man's Tin Cans facing off against Riston's Rogues in the Foothills Arena. Go ahead and tell us how this ended up, Geoff.
Well, it ended in a 3-3 tie.
I don't think any of us called that.
No.
Yeah, no. None of us saw that happening.
I should have called myself a tie like I did the last time against somebody, right?
Yep. Didn't you say if you'd done that, you'd win?
Yeah, exactly. No, it was a really good game. In the end, it came down to my Night Sky and the Grasshopper, and I stood the Grasshopper, and it got its head kicked off. So, what more can you say about that, right?
I believe the sound is, it's good!
That sounds about right. The Cerberus actually died pretty pristine. It took 3 separate head hits, so kind of hard to stop that coming in, right?
Yep. Headshots always suck.
It wasn't like he did it all in one go. It took a head hit, and then it took. Well, that's not true. He did hit me twice in the head to finish it off in the same volley of LRMs. So.
But yeah, it wasn't an AC-20. It was a bunch of LRMs over time.
Oh, yeah, he did it by having to roll multiple headshots, so wasn't the easy way, right? With a 15-pointer.
When you're dealing with missiles, it's never the easy way.
Well, floating hit ammo, right?
Yeah, I've done it. I throw a lot of missiles out, and it does do it. But generally, you gotta just sandblast the enemy until they fall apart.
That would have been my Banshee. My Banshee took so much damage that it, wasn't even funny. It took forever to kill that thing, and but eventually it did. So yeah, like I say, 3-3 tie. It was an extremely fun match playing against Justin, and yeah, I'd play against him anytime.
Justin's a blast.
Okay, so game number 7 is a little bit of a different situation for us all today. One of our stable managers had to step away from the league with only 3 games left, so we had a special guest running the show today. Matt from Cats Commandos last season stepped up and piloted the Fallen's mechs against the Red Suns Irregulars on the Fortress Custom Arena. This showdown ended with a 3-1 Red Suns victory today, but it was nice to see Matt come out and throw down and have some fun, even if he couldn't commit to this year's season.
Yeah, and he didn't even kill the rifleman. He tried. Yeah, we're going to continue on with some special guest stars coming in and playing the Fallen Angels stable just to keep it going so that the players can finish off the rest of their season against an opponent. Really don't like giving away bye wins. And Matt really did take it to Gary. He tried really hard. He was doing some really good moves. The upgrade we did to the Jaeger mech made a big difference, swapping out those Rack 2s to Rack 5s. It started throwing out some serious damage, considering the fact we almost triple the amount of damage it can do.
Yeah, I think it tripled the output on that one.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, it's darn close anyway, and it's still a great mech. Great, two Rack 5s, 2 LB2Xs, and 2 ER medium lasers. Still pretty solid machine. Yeah, there was a couple of missteps where literally the Mercury 2, I think, missed a kick and fell down beside a down mech. So yeah, it was a little bit rough. But thanks a lot for coming out, Matt. I think next week it's going to be who's playing for.
If all works out, Rob, one of the gentlemen who wanted to join us this year but was unable to just before draft, will be coming out and having his first league type of game so that he can join us next year with a little practice.
Excellent.
Nice.
Well, good luck. Good luck for the rest of the season, Gary. I know it's a bit of a rough row to hoe before the very end, and like to see you up in A.
You know, if he's up in A, you're not going to be.
No, I know. I'm taking it as each day as we go, so I'm not really freaking out one way or the other.
Yeah, right. Just have fun with your games.
Exactly. And if I end up in B, I'll just have to crush Aaron. That's all.
Yeah, but Aaron's going to make A, so...
I don't know. It's going to be tough. I don't think 6 wins
It'll
are going to
save
get
you from a rematch.
Yeah, that's all right. Maybe I'll get revenge.
Game number 8, the Lords of the Underworld try to take it to the second St. Ives Janissaries on the default arena. This can be ruled a victory for the Lords in a few different ways today. The Janissaries Atlas walked away with 0 kills. Not even itself. As well as the Berserker gets to hit things with its hatchet. Alas, at the end of the day, the scoreboard shows a 4-2 second St. Ives Janissaries victory, with the Atlas and the Hunchback both laying on the field as scrap.
He finally got to hit something with his hatchet. Way to go, man. After playing me and having that sorry axe get hit with a floating critical to blow the arm off, that it must have been pretty frustrating and a big relief to finally get it to hit. Week 8's a little late, or game 8 is a little bit late for that, but hey, you still got 2 more games to swing that thing around and see what you can destroy.
Well, he was just using those first 7 games to warm up, right?
Yeah, well, you got to, when you're carrying an axe that heavy, yeah, I can see you needing a bit of a running start.
It's like batting practice, right? You never just go in swinging cold. You got to warm up for a bit.
Yeah, exactly. It just took him slightly longer than, should have. So here's the important question, though, during that match, Brett. Did Berserker, using the skill Berserker, pay off for it?
Not really. So round 1 of Berserker, he gets up to the Hunchback, and I do 25 points of damage to him. He fails the PSR. Falls down at the feet of the Hunchback, gets kicked. Round 2, he stands up, hits the Hunchback, but nothing super spectacular. And then round 3, he smoked the Hunchback again, but taking the arm and the side torso off.
Nice, but, not what you're hoping. Especially that first one when you fall down.
Yeah, that's always a pain when you're trying to get in there and do physicals, and just when you get there, you fall down due to...
I was cheering for him. I was like, it's a Timmy moment. It's a Timmy moment. Failed his PSR. I'm like, oh, you fell down. I'm like, I don't know if you're going to get another chance because you're just standing right there. But he hit me twice. He lasted 2 more turns.
But that's what quite often happens with the physical attack mechs, though, is because it's like a DFA. Everybody turns and fires at you, regardless of the target number, trying to knock you down so you don't actually get that weapon swing off.
And Lee, he says, he says he was cheering for him, but he didn't stand there and let him hit him the first time, right? He did that 25 points to him.
True. He didn't just stand there and go, give it to me. Yeah.
It was the Hunchback. He weighs half his tonnage. That's like you standing there against Geoff and being like, go ahead, hit me. Game number 9, Kells Keshik are on the receiving end of some Doom Buds today. The Doom Buds drop some shocking moves and some massive missile fire on the King Crab, but are unable to pull victory from defeat today as the Keshik's Marauder and the Wraith decide to touch toe tips in the head of the Longbow, finishing it off the final mech with a river dance of despair as they both kick it in the face.
That's unfortunate. I know the Doom Buds were showing some definite momentum there, and Kells Keshiks, which have now moved into first place with today's win, make it a pretty tight race at the top and kind of crush the Doom Buds a little bit on making the A side.
Do they? Are they out of making the A side? I don't think.
Yeah, if they win the next 2 games, it only puts them at 5 wins. And like I said, I'm not even sure wins are gonna make it to A side anymore. I think you're gonna need 7 to be sure to be an A side, and a lot of teams don't have the wins. I know I don't. You guys up at the top are gonna have to mess up bad over the next couple of games for any of us down here in the trenches to catch you.
Oh, so you're saying I should lose my next 2 matches?
Go ahead, push you out down into the top of B side.
Well, it sounds like then if he won't make A side, he'll at least be top of B side.
Could very well
pretty
be
close B type, right?
Yeah, because we're Alex and I are playing on the very last week of regular season. We both said we're going to play on a specialty map, so it's going to be kind of fun there. The 2 C3Is going at it, and I know Brandon. I play Brandon next. That he's close to making it into the A side. So yeah, it'll all depend.
Is it bad that when they're playing on a custom map, I want them to get the map that affects missiles?
We actually were talking about that today. We think it'd be hilarious.
All right, moving on to game number 10. With a little mass destruction versus Odin Storm Riders finally coming to fruition. Lee lives up to his namesake. We see some mass destruction today in the Grasslands Arena. Lee, tell us a little story of woe and victory.
Well, I ended up taking out 2 of Will's mechs with some pretty concentrated firepower coming from an LRM heavy lance. I did like 60 points of damage to his Wolverine's right leg, and combining that with the slight amount of damage on the right torso just tore the mech's right half off. And that was 3XL engine hits, which took him out. And that was round 3 of fire. His archer was kind of creeping up and throwing those 4 LRM 15s at me pretty consistently, but not hitting. Like he was every round getting the 4 out, but I kept enough trees and smoke in between him and I that he wasn't getting good target numbers. And then when I finally decided to fire on him, a ton of damage, one shot after the other, hit the right leg of the archer. I finally got into the internal structure, hit his ammo, and boom, his archer was gone. No case on that mech because it just doesn't have the room for it. His Hatamoto his Hatamoto got a little bit too far ahead of everybody, ended up kind of in the middle of my 4 mechs. Took a massive damage, but being a zombie, very hard to kill. Really badly beat up my crab. I was like 10 points left in the left torso internal, and no major criticals, but I was pretty badly hurt. I think a turn or 2 later after that, after I had knocked down his Hatamoto, he caught me with an autocannon 20 to my crab, which had been gyro hitted and engine hitted the round before by the Hatamoto. Caught me in the left torso with the autocannon 20. That was just it. Just gone. Done mech. After that, I just kept dancing around his Atlas. If you take a look at the sheet, there is almost no armor on that mech at all except for the back. I wore through all of it. Eventually, his Atlas fell down, pulled a Sachowski maneuver, critted his own ammo bin, got 2 more crits and couldn't avoid them, hit another ammo bin. That was 4 head hits from 1 fall, and I'd hit him twice before with some scattering fire before, so it melted down the pilot. All in all, I'd have to say Will played a great game. We got 15 turns in, so we were able to get the turn count up. It was a great game, had a lot of fun, and I know Will seemed to enjoy himself a lot too.
So let me get this straight. Atlas scores the hat trick, killing itself for the 3rd time this season?
If that's what he's done to himself beforehand, yep, that would be the hat trick.
No, mine's done it twice. His is the 3rd time.
All right, well, no, not quite, but it's close.
That's pretty funny. Maybe it's something with Atlases this year.
Maybe it's something with Atlases this year.
You guys pack so much ammo into them. Like, he's got like 5-6 tons of ammunition in it.
Yeah, and I think I've got 9. His has got 6.
Yeah.
That much ammo, you're just bound to catch some of it at some point in time.
Yeah, that's why when I engineered my Salamander, I took out 3 tons of ammunition when I went down to the 15s, because just don't want them to get hit.
Now, weren't you saying you ran out of offensive ammo in that Salamander today in your match?
Yeah, but it was the last round of fire. So, that leaves me with the large laser, but that Atlas was in so much bad condition, the large laser might have actually been good enough to take him out. So, I wasn't that upset about it.
Game number 11, also fighting over the default arena today, we have the Donru Tiger Slayers take it to the Blitzkrieg Jezebels. This is one of our lower scoring matches today, and it ends in a 2-1 Tiger Slayers victory, as the buzzer goes, sending all the mech warriors home.
This was a good game. Heather's not that comfortable with the C3 and the C3I system on how to deal with it and how to disable it. She was kind of treating it like the Artemis 4 system, keeping her mechs inside the ECM bubble instead of chasing down the spotting mech of the Donru Tiger Slayers to try to take it out of the system. A lot of damage was thrown back and forth, and for the fact that with not really understanding how to defend against the C3 system, she actually kept her mechs in decent condition to only lose 2-1.
That's not bad then. You know, that's like you say, she had issues with it, but it sounds like she almost overcome it, but just wasn't close enough.
Yeah, I think a couple of more games against the C3 systems, she would have it down where she'd understand what it is, what to do. But it's kind of hard to visualize when you haven't used it much.
Yeah, very true.
That is one of the things that I really like about our league, is that we've got diverse technology for each of the factions for the most part. But if you've never faced off against it, it can actually be a really different game for half the matches you come against. That'll take us into the highlights from Illyrian's Command Couch. This week's highlights start off with a high-diving grasshopper leaping ahead and plunging deep into a depth 2 water hazard. The Blitzkrieg Jezebel fell down on her back and breached that side torso. Not a good day to go swimming, folks. Now, for our second one, let's get physical, as Timmy finally gets his Berserker up and close to not once, but twice smack something with that giant hatchet of his, as the Lords of the Underworld pilot finally gets to achieve his season goal against the second St. Ives Janissaries Hunchback. This needed to be highlighted because it's been one of his main goals that he wanted to achieve the entire season.
All right, thanks, Brett, for those highlights from the interesting things that happened in this week. Now stay tuned for another interview from Heather.
Hello, this is Heather with the Calgary Battletech League. I'm going to be talking to Gary to see how his game was. How was it today?
Oh, well, we sure would have been able to play John, but Matt definitely stepped up into his shoes and definitely did not roll worthy of anything, which was, great to my detriment, because I definitely pulled that one out of my ass. But yeah, it was a great game. Lots of 6 spins, lots of jams. It was ridiculous. By the end of the turn, or end of the game, it was 6 jams out of 5 racks. I think we both unjammed 1 each. So it was a good game. It was also played on the custom map, and there was a lot of skidding, and there was a lot of jumping, and thankfully the Mercury went down by itself, just out in the corner. It could fall over and die. Because it needed it. That gave me the win. That was the tie from going from a tie to a win. So it was definitely needed right at the end buzzer there. So because it was down to a tie at the end. I did not expect to win. I pulled it out of somewhere.
Well, you had fun, and even if you hadn't won, I know you're such a good sport that really it wouldn't have mattered, but...
It's the first time playing on that map. Everything was... You had to learn it. I had to learn skidding rules today. That was fun. But yeah, it was a great match, and always have fun with people. It's just the whole point of the league is to get out and play people and learn and grow and have fun. There's not supposed to be, bad blood or anything between people at the end of it. It's just supposed to be having fun, winning. And if your dice leave you, yeah, you kind of get used to it after a while. Because, yeah, I'm at about 50% right now, and I'm really deciding if I'm going to use the neutral dice next week because it's playoff, getting close to playoffs. So
Yeah. So where are you sitting in the standings right now?
before today's game, I'm placing 8th. So I'm in top 8 right now. This win should solidify me into top 8 for the last 2 games now. And now I got to figure out my last 9 points of skills, because I did not spend anything last week, because now I've only got 2 mechs and I need like more than 9 points. But we'll make do. So the Banshee didn't get headshotted this time, but there's something that just everybody loves, a T-bolt with a Gauss rifle. That's 2 games, both rounds gone out of like turn 2. Turn 2, critically my Gauss rifle. I love it. Anyways.
Well, at least you didn't jump yourself into a level 2 water and float that torso.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. That was probably would have been a good idea as long as you didn't critical yourself. But yeah, I don't like water at all. It's just not fun.
I've never had a problem with water before, and now I might avoid it for the next couple games.
Well, I'm really hoping, I want to try that River Delta, the new maps.
Oh.
Because it's all water. Like, it's like little hills, little hill here and here. But I've got 3 jumpers. So not bad. I just have to be able to post the Banshee somewhere else.
What are we going to do? Now, I do have to ask you one more quick question. What's your favorite mech?
Oh, it's got to be the Rifleman. Sorry, but everybody hates it, and nobody's killed it yet. Like, he had it down to a leg off of it and like an engine hit, and he still couldn't hit it. But I just laid there and unjammed my racks with the leg off.
Well, with the leg, all right. I'm not really sure how that happened, but I'm glad it did for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I got one more spin, 6 spin off the end of the game. That was fine. Didn't kill anything, but it was a 2-1. It was really close. I mean, it was definitely going to have to learn about pavement and that fortress rule. That fortress map is ridiculous. But I am looking forward to the other customs maps, and I really hope they get into rotation next year, just being
a regular
thing, even without the, without the modifications and everything. But it was really good.
That's awesome. So is there anything you want to say to your upcoming opponent next week?
Oh, who is that now? I don't even know. Let's not hit my Gauss rifle. I'd appreciate it so very much. Just, can we do that one? Don't care about anything else. Just don't Gauss shot. Just don't explode my Gauss rifle, please. It's the only one I have.
Oh, I know the feeling. Those Gauss rifles are awesome. Well, we're gonna say goodbye because my hand is going numb, and we will see you guys all later. Bye. Hi, this is Heather from Calgary Battletech League again, and I have one of our main admin here. Hi, Brett.
Howdy doody.
So this is going to be real quick. How was your game?
It was good. It was a lot of fun, and the Berserker got to hit things with its axe twice today. So Jay gets his goal for the season.
That's been his goal all season,
That's been
right?
his season. Get the Berserker and smack something with the hatchet.
Well, yeah, and I know he wanted to do it to me, and it just didn't happen, and he was a little bit mad, but hey, what are you going to do?
The first turn he got into a position, I shot him, and he failed his pilot skill, and he fell down. And then the next turn, he stood up, and he hit me. And then the next turn, he stood up, because I knocked him down again, and he hit me again. And then the Berserker died. But he got to hit it twice.
Well, he got hit twice and did decent damage then.
Yeah, it's 22 points because he's got Berserker Rage on it, so he attacks is 10 tons heavier.
Ow!
It's 110 ton mech hitting you.
Okay, owie. All right, we'll do one quick question. What do you have? Red?
The answer to any question can be a numerical or a color response.
Okay, answer this one. Who are you playing next week, and what do you want to say to them?
I believe I'm playing Will, Odin's Storm Riders, and I just hope he has a good game.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, look at the little man being so nice.
Kill count's going to matter on how many turns we get in.
Very true. Very true. Well, thank you, Brett, and we'll talk to you later.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Well, thanks, Heather, for getting in there and interviewing those members of the group. It's good to hear a little bit of live interviewing. And this is going to lead us into the Week 9 matches. You tried to throw me a curveball there, Brett. I don't read everything you type in, though enough of them to make mistakes. So, Week 9 matches, getting exciting. Game number 1, we have the Condo Janissaries. 6 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. Up against the Blood of Bashir with 1 win, 7 losses, and 0 ties. I don't think Andrew's going to get his second win in this game. He might. You never know. He played a tough game this week. JP's got great patience and tactical knowledge. I'm going to say the Condo Janissaries are going to win it with a 4-1 victory.
I want to see what map these guys play on. I think it's probably going to be, well, I know JP. JP is going to offer him up a custom map first. And maybe Andrew takes it just for the experience. Maybe Andrew gets Fortress and JP kills his own mech again because he's done that on the Fortress map. And that helps out. But I think it's going to be Condo Janissary 4-1 victory as well.
I don't think the stars are going to align like that. But I have to say, I think it's going to be a 4-0. I think the Janissaries are going to, as much as we all like Andrew, right? I think the Janissaries are just going to stomp the Blood of Bashir in this match.
I don't agree that he's going to stomp him, but JP is such a defensive player that your 4-0 might be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Andrew is going to throw a lot of damage, but JP might cycle through things and be like, this guy's at 40% armor now, this guy's at 40% armor now, this guy's at 40% armor now, and you're out of mechs.
And it's not that Andrew can't play the game. He's getting better all the time. I just think JP's got such a huge experience and patience advantage. Game number 2, we have the War Club with 6 wins, 2 losses, and no ties. They're coming up against Vandals Valkyries with 2 wins, 6 losses, 0 ties. Now, on paper, this does not look good for our Vandals Valkyries, and I would love to say that they're going to win, but he won't let me. I am going to say it's going to be a 4-2 victory for the War Club, though it could easily be a Vandals Valkyries. I'm going to go tie. There, that's as good as I can go. Sorry, Chris.
Be your own man, Lee. Make your own calls. I think this is probably going to be a War Club 4-2 victory. I think the Vandals are going to get some decent grouping and clip out some of those XL engines and just drop some of the War Club. So 4-2 final.
I'm going to be the opposite person. I say it's going to be a Vandals Valkyries win. And I think it's going to be a 4-3.
And you know what? He's had good luck with you calling him for a win, so we'll see how it goes. Maybe you'll be the deciding factor there, Geoff.
Thunder Chicken picking up 3 kills.
Good, absolutely.
I don't think it's going to pick up 3, maybe 2. Softening that stuff up as it comes in with so those 4 LB10s pick things out, right?
Yeah. You got 2 100-tonners with relative long-range fire. It could be an absolute difficult game for the War Club. Moving on to game number 3, we have the Parker's Pathfinders with 3 wins, 5 losses, 0 ties. They're up against the B-side Brawlers, who have 4 wins, 4 losses, and 0 ties. Now, the B-side Brawlers are desperately grasping at the potential of getting into the A side for the first time in their 2 seasons, and I think one of the first times they've actually been in contention for the A side. And Parker's Pathfinders have had a better season than their entire last season, probably multiplied by a couple. He's doing really well, he's hitting really hard. Both of them are bringing that dreaded Night Star to the field. And the B-side Brawlers have done a really good job of using determination last game to really to good advantage. I'm going to say the B-side Brawlers are going to win this, but it's going to be super tight, 3-2.
If key teams take losses and others get wins, those last two spots are completely up in contention. And we could see either of these teams either in A or B. If Parker's wins this next match, it's going to be 4-5, and the B-side will also be at 4-5 for a score. Parker's Pathfinders is amazing lance on paper. They're coming miles ahead of where they were last season. B-side is our B-side champion from last year. I think this is going to be a 4-3 B-side victory.
Yeah, you guys all think this is going to be a slugfest, which I do agree with you. This is going to be a slugfest between these two teams. But like you guys said, B-side Brawlers had determination on that Night Star and used it to great effect last game. In fact, killing 2 mechs in the same turn before they even got to return fire. So that's pretty nice. That pays for that skill right there, right? So I think we are going to see a B-side Brawler win. I think we are going to see I'm going to say 4-2.
Well, we're on to game number 4, where we see the Abishai's Avengers 7-1-0. So 7 wins, 1 loss, 0 ties. They're up against Thumper's Revenge. 2 wins, 4 losses, 2 ties. And like you were talking earlier about being on paper heavy, the Abishai Avengers look like they should take the Thumper's Revenge out relatively easily. But he's got Gauss rifles. And Thumper's Revenge has those magnetic warheads, which worked really well against Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates. We had a practice game, and we played off Salamander versus Salamander. She got to see a little bit of how I used them, so for the smoke and minefields. Not that they're doing me that great this season, but we'll see how it works out. I think her magnetic warheads might actually be the difference. I'm going to say this is going to be a Abishai Avengers win, unfortunately, but I think it's going to be a 3-2, maybe even a 4-3, but I'm going to go 3-2 as well with that final say, because I think Thumper's Revenge isn't going to make it easy on him.
Now, Abishai's Avengers has a gauze rifle, not multiple, so I don't know how much factor those magnetic warheads are going to be, but the specialty munitions between magnetic, minefield, and smoke, I think may have a good chance of throwing Max off his game, because I don't know if he's ever played against them. It is going to be a slugfest. I believe both of these lances are set up to do some long-range exchange, so that could play into Thumper's Revenge's benefit, as she's built her lance and has been doing really well towards that. I think it is going to end up being a 4-2 Abishai's Avengers, unless the map is really kind to Thumper's. It could go either way, but I'm sticking with Abishai's in this one, unfortunately. Only because, unfortunate that it's another family member.
Trying to be all nice. I think you're right, Brett. I think it is going to be an Abishai Avengers win. 4-2 is probably pretty good. The Thumpers have done decent this season, and 2 wins and 2 ties is nothing to scoff at for sure. But I think the Abishai's Avengers have just been going to town.
Yeah, this would be one of the few times that he doesn't get 4 kills if my prediction's correct. But It all depends upon how weapons fire goes off. A little bit of clustering of the LRMs and some of his mechs may drop that he wasn't expecting.
And 4 LRM 20s at range is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, our practice game, it was tough. Right? She hit me with 1 and does 20 points of damage. If I don't hit her with 2 LRM 15s coming back, it's not good. And her Salamander with the magnetic warheads, the special munitions, plus missile grouping, increases. It's solid.
It is a danger to be contended with.
Yep. Game number 5, we have the Flying Tigers being run by Paul. He's got 2 wins, 6 losses, 0 ties, up against Tin Man Tin Cans, who have moved out of the basement. They are now in 21st place, 0 wins, 6 losses, and 2 ties. They are exact polar opposite teams. One guy has 2 wins, one guy has 2 ties. This could have been wins for the Tin Man Tin Cans. So he's not coming out that low on the totem pole, and Paul is just a complete wild card. I am going to say that the Flying Tigers get their 3rd win of the game, and it's going to be a 4-1 because of Paul's randomness.
All right. So this is going to be the Tin Can's crowning achievement. He's going to put a big one in the win column. I don't think it is going to be a massively scoring game, as much as Paul is very recklessly aggressive and the Tin Mans can be calculated. I think it's going to be a 3-1 Tin Mans Tin Cans victory.
I also agree that I think it's going to be a Tin Man's win this time around. Not against Paul on this one, but I do think Justin's due for the win. And, like you say, Paul with Flying Tigers is pretty aggressive at times, and the Tin Cans, they can play conservative, and which might work to his advantage in this. So I do think we're going to see a Tin Man's win, and I'm going to say it's going to be a 3-2.
Game number 6, we have Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates with 5 wins, 3 losses, 0 ties. They are up against the Red Suns Irregulars, 5 wins, 3 losses, 0 ties. These 2 teams are absolutely at each other's throats for the final spot in the A-side playoffs. And you know what? They're both great teams. Gary's played very well this season, a massive increase from last season, and Galen has done a wonderful job in his first season of showing how much of a contender he is. Either one of these teams can make the playoffs easily in the A side, but now they have to face off against each other. I'm going to continue cheering for my buddy Gary, so I'm going to say the Red Suns Irregulars will win, but the Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates are going to make them pay for every inch of ground, and it is going to be a 4-3.
I think we're going to have some rack attack here, and I think it's going to go well. I want to see Red Suns Irregulars slip into A-side this year, mostly just because I think he can. He talked a good game about making sure his pilots are clean and sober and having no fun so that they can compete on the battlefield, and it's been working for Gary. So, Red Suns, 3-2.
I think that I'm going to be Mr. Opposite here, and I'm going to go with Petulant Perry's on the win. And I think Lee's score of a 4-3 is close, but a 4-2. Like you said, they're both strong players. They are the exact same win-loss ratio right now. They both have really good lances. I think in the end, though, the Pirates are going to take it.
Gauze rifles over racks, eh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's usually a pretty safe bet. Game number 7. Riston's Rogues, 6 wins, 0 losses, 2 ties. They're facing off against the Lords of the Underworld. 1 win, 6 losses, and a tie. I played against Jay a couple of weeks ago, and we ended up fighting to a tie, which I thought I had the game pretty well under control. And Riston's Rogues are a little bit starting to look like they've got some tie problems happening to them. I'm going to say the Lords of the Underworld are going to make things a little bit more difficult for Riston's Rogues, but in the end, the Rogues will pull it out with a 3-2 victory. But it'll be the last round to get that 3rd kill.
This is going to be my game 2 all over again. I think Rissen's Rogue's going to come out with a 4-0 victory on this one. Just because he's going to take it to the new guy and not be nice at all.
I'm never nice. Oh. Anything else on that one, Brett? That's all you're going to say? Is
No,
just
if you can't
maybe
say
4-0?
anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Okay. Just going to call it a 4-0 in my favor. Okay. Maybe I should call it a tie.
It seems to work out well for you.
And then actually get a tie.
Yep.
No. All joking aside, I think... Yeah, I see here already writing my name down for my win. I will call it a win for myself. I'm going to go with a 3-1.
Game number 8, we got the second St. Ives Janissaries with 7 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties. They're up against Odin Storm Riders, 3 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. Now, I just got finished playing Will today, actually, and Will plays a very, very good game. He has a pretty predictable movement where he was going to come charging at you, but the thing is, he's got the mechs to back it up. Keeps the archer a little bit back, hits you with those 4 LRM-15s. The Hatamoto and the Atlas have some pretty devastating close-range firepower, and if that Wolverine makes up its steam with its large X-Pulse, medium X-Pulse, and 2 Streak 6s, it can make you pay if you ignore it. Unfortunately, your Atlas is the scariest thing on 2 legs in under 9 hexes. So Will's Atlas and Will's Hatamoto aren't going to want to close, which is going to cost them. I'm going to say the second St. Ives Janissaries are going to win this with a 4, because you're just going to set everything on fire and they're all going to explode, even the ones without ammo. 4-2 win. Because your Hunchback and your Atlas always die.
Pretty much, right? Hunchback dead, Atlas dead. Second Atlas on the field also going to be dead. I can't disagree with you on this one, Lee. Second St. Ives Janissaries 4-2 victory at the end of the day.
You guys are just copying me here, right? I was going to call a second St. Ives Janissaries win for a 4-2. Both Atlases are going to end up dead. I think that's a given. Yes, that's...
They have to die. The Atlases have to die.
Now, the question is, do they kill themselves, or do they get killed by other stuff?
Well, they've got so much ammo, and they just seem to like to detonate. And I'm starting to see the Case 2 being an actual curse more than a boon. Like, if you have a standard engine, you might as well just take regular Case and lose the torso, because it lessens the chance of the cascading damage. Like, I guess, anyway, because it seems to work better off than the way Case 2 is doing.
I mean, mathematically, it's the exact same.
I know, but it doesn't seem to be working out that way. Like, how many mech melts have we had where the pilot ends up dying and the mech is actually, you can drive it off the field, versus mechs just blown up due to case or no case?
I think there's been like a half a dozen that the pilots have been goo.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, we've certainly had more pilots this time end up as, a vegetable than last season with just, ammo exploding on its own.
Yep.
You know what they say, though? Pilots are cheap, mechs ain't.
So are you going 4-2, Geoff?
Yes. Yeah, 4-2.
All right. So we finally agree on something.
Write it on the calendar.
Yep. Game number 9. The Doom Buds with 3 wins, 5 losses, 0 ties. They're up against the Blitzkrieg Jezebels. 4 wins, 4 losses, 0 ties. Well, as I said earlier, Heather's having a bit of problems with the C3 and C3I system, but she got some experience playing up against Brandon, so I think she's going to have a little bit of an idea what to go into. I'm going to be filling her ear with as much information as I know about the C3I system. And we're just going to see a great fight. They're going to hammer at each other. They're both game speeds have picked up greatly. Alex is playing so much better than he did season 1. And Heather's got a little bit of experience under her belt, and she plays up, or at least she plays the level of her opponent. I'm going to say this is going to end up being a 3-1 victory for... Oh, and I don't want to be nepotistic here. I'm going to say Blitzkrieg Jezebels anyway, because I think her mechs are just a little bit more damaging at the ranges that Alex is going to want to be at to spot.
And I understand where you're coming from, because I'm going to flip the tables. And if you're going to help Heather as much as possible, I got to do the same for Alex.
You think do you think that any of us didn't think you were going to do that? He lives with you, man.
Yeah, but he's my kid. Like he ever listens to me. At least yours chose to be with you. All right. That being said, Doom Buds have been itching to try and either slip into A side just for the ability to say, that. But I think his actual goal this season is B side champion. To get that, he needs to secure his spot in B, which means he needs the last two matches to be wins. He's hungry for it. He knows how to play his mechs. He knows how to make the maximum out of his C3 network and his Einarchs. He's just got to put it into effect. This is going to be a 4-3 Doombuds victory.
So maybe I should feed information to both sides? Is that what you're saying here? And then
you actually know that neither of them are going to listen to us. Neither of them are going to actually listen to us.
That's what I mean, right?
It'll be your advice that would be the useful one.
So I'll give the advice, and then I'll give the opposite advice, though, right? And then just watch the hilarity ensue, and just be the evil man in the corner laughing. That probably wouldn't go over well. Heather might hurt me if I did that.
Yeah, you'd have to worry about what she feeds you next time she brings snacks.
I know, right? Alex, at least, I can probably hold back. This is going to be an interesting fight. Like you say, Heather has had a little bit of issue with the C3. Alex is, he's used the C3 well, but he has had some issues with it also this season. Not getting optimal shots in that. Not really a fault of his own in some cases, but you know what? 3-3 tie.
Well, you get one per season.
I would love to see it happen,
or per week.
Right?
I actually would be okay with that too.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see them tie, and it's completely possible. It's all going to be a matter on dice rolls. Like I know Heather's got at least a gunnery skill on every mech. Alex is doing a good job with using the tech to offset the 4 points that he lost being Comstar, and using the C3I system. So a tie is possible, and that's why I think both Brett and I are both saying that it's going to be close. Well,
technically, Lee, we're all calling it close.
No, he's calling for an exact tie. That's not close. That's
it
exact.
Doesn't get any closer than that.
No, it's exact.
Like a lingerie shop without a front window.
Game number 10. We have Mass Destruction. 4 wins, 3 losses, 1 tie, but that 4 wins has a little asterisk because it was a bye win. Up against the Donru Tiger Slayers. 4 wins, 4 losses, 0 ties. This is C3 versus C3I. This is somebody who's throwing some ECMs onto his mechs to help deal with my C3I, so I think he's a little afraid of me. I don't know why. No one else seems to be. It's going to be a great match. I think it's going to be close. I'm really trying to figure out some different tactics on how to offset his massive firepower with that Orion.
Poking in the ammo.
Yeah, hopefully I can get that. I'm going to say that I am going to win that with a 3-2. And that's just because I have to pick a number, and there just aren't so many options, and I don't think I'm going to get another 4-kill game this regular season, so that's what I'm going to go with.
All right, I think this is going to be another Mass Destruction win. I think it's actually going to be a 4-3, though. And that's because it's going to be who gets more ammo crits.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Here, I'll shock you again. I think Lee is correct. It's going to be a 3-2.
Wow.
On the Downru Tigers? No.
That would be what I would expect from you. But
No, I think, Lee, that you your knowledge with the C3 and you have a C3I is better than C3, right? It's a lot harder to shut down a C3I than it is to shut down a C3. So
yeah, I have no ECMs, dude. I'm not shutting the system down at all. I'm just going to
you're
have to
not.
live with it.
You're gonna have to live with it. Oh, interesting.
That's where my
I
smoke
didn't
You're
think
gonna
clouds
of
are.
have to live with it. And Brandon has a beagle on his Kakata to shut down Lee's C3 ECM protection.
He has an ECM. Well, he has an ECM on the Cicada, does he not?
I
No, his
believe-
ECM is on the.
Yeah, he put the beagle on the Kakata so that he could move up and cancel something out.
and I don't have ECM, so that's a useless tech on that map.
The Warhammer picked up ECM this week.
Which is a mech that stays near the back. So I'm not sure it's going to really be that effective for him. This is why I have the warheads, like not necessarily the magnetic warheads, because I don't think he has a gauze rifle in his lance, but my smoke rounds, my minefields, the extended range where maybe I can stay back outside of his range a little bit to get some advantage there. It's going to be close, right? I'm hoping smoke I can use, like what worked well today against Will. Hopefully I can use smoke and stuff like that to kind of stymie a lot of what the Dawn Retire Slayers are going to try to do.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting match.
And see, Lee, we will back your call and we will back you in a match that we think you can win.
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm going to lose now because you guys both agreed with me winning. The last game of week 9 is going to be the Fallen Angels with guest stable manager Rob. They're looking at 0 wins, 6 losses, and 2 ties. They're up against Kells Keswick, the top of the league, with 7 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties. I am not going to expect anything different out of these guys. I'm going to say Kells Keswick will take the win with a... Fallen Angels are pretty mobile. I'm going to say it's going to be a 3-1 victory.
Oh, this is going to be tough. Mostly because Rob's never played a league match. Now he's got some off-season play. He's played in some games. And Geoff, I think, is going to tone it down a little so that he doesn't, scare a new player away. And it's going to be a good game. They're going to have fun. It's going to feel more like a training game, I think, than a full-out, I need to cut your knees out from under you so that I can remain in first place. I think it's going to be a 2-1 Kells Keswick victory at the end.
Oh, look at you guys being so nice to the possibly new player, right? I do think, yes, that Geoff is going to be a lot easier on his opponent. In the end, though, he is, still packing a really good punch with that lance. And if it's Rob who's going to play, he's unfamiliar with the lance. He hasn't played with this lance at all. And like you say, this will be his first league game for the league. So I think we're going to see a 4-1 Keswick win.
All right, everybody. Well, that is week 8 games in the bag, and our week 9 predictions are up. Looking forward to seeing all of you guys in 1 week. 5 weeks in a row I've been at the den on Sundays. Looking forward to a small break after this upcoming game. It's great. I am so happy the season is going so well, and I'm really surprised we're this close to the end of regular season already. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, no, playoffs are fast approaching. Just the last 2 games to go before that. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing everybody next game day. And thanks everybody else for joining us. And have a good night.
Thanks again for everybody for tuning in. Remember, Battle Basement, reach out to us and let us know whether you want that prize and how we can get it to you, or if you're going to pass on it so that we can get a draw out for somebody else. Really do appreciate all of our listeners, and thanks again for tuning in. Have a wonderful evening, and good night.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hit that notification bell.
And comment. Everybody make sure you comment.
And leave those 5-star reviews on those places that we're now leaving podcasts are as well. Coming at you like a shot to the cockpit. Good night, and lights out.